Sports in the 20th century. Our American society continued to become more urbanized and industrialized. People were moving to cities, which led to a continued push for sport and various recreational activities that accommodated urban lifestyles. Technological innovation continued to increase in the beginning of the 20th century and throughout. These creative innovations were starting to be used in the sports world. Sports information was becoming increasingly available through the telegraph, radio, and television. Additionally, sports journalism developed in the 19th century and became a part of American life more than ever before in the 20th century.
Hello, welcome to the latest edition of SportsCenter on ESPN. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Carter.
And we're broadcasting live from Longwood University. Today our major topic is about sports during the 20th century.
Endurance sports was one of the first major types of sports that emerged in the early 20th century. An endurance sport is considered a subset of a sport in which the goal requires a prolonged athletic output for an extended period of time over a significant distance. The four endurance sports that became very popular throughout the 20th century were dance marathons, flagpole sitting contests, long-distance swims, and the triathlon.
Flagpole sitting contests were popular in the early 20th century. In the flagpole sitting contest, athletes had to sit on top of a flagpole, balance, and stay there as long as possible.
The Bunyan Derby was an event that began in the 21st century, where athletes ran from Los Angeles to New York. Only the most fit and determined male athletes finished this gruesome race.
This is one of the most unique places on Earth, and Hawaii will beat you down.
This place is a little bit like paradise and hell in one, you know?
This course, you have to respect it.
It's called the Ironman, and it is legendary for forcing you to explore and expand your limits.
You've got the best long-distance triathletes in the world pushing hard.
The strongest, mentally tough athletes in the world have been broken.
There are moments of agony, moments of glory, moments of pain.
It's going to hurt, it's going to get hard, you need to be ready for that.
The ocean, the heat, the distance, the wind. It's the same for everyone.
There is no hiding. You are racing the whole way by yourself.
There are 5 sports invented in the 20th century that are among 5 of our most exciting and popular sports in our American society today.
Football,
Baseball,
boxing,
Basketball,
and volleyball.
Football was the first of 5 sports to emerge in the 20th century. It quickly became the most popular sport in college athletics. Although the popularity of college football grew incredibly fast, the sport was not in any way safe to play. To make the game safer, the Intercollegiate Athletic Association of the United States was formed. This organization was later renamed the National Collegiate Athletic Association, or the NCAA, in 1910.
Professional football started in 1894.
On September 17, 1920, the formation of the American Professional Football Association was created in Canton, Ohio. The first president of this organization was Jim Thorpe, who at the time was the greatest all-around athlete. Later, Joe Carr became the new president and renamed the organization to the National Football League.
College football was still much more popular than professional football, but following World War II, pro football and the NFL grew enormously. In 1966, the first Super Bowl was played between Kansas City Chiefs and Green Bay Packers. Professional baseball, also known as America's pastime, became hugely popular in the 20th century. Major League Baseball, MLB, was represented by the American League and the National League. Racism was a big social issue in the 20th century America. Before 1947, baseball was exclusively white. The sport was segregated between white and black people until Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson, a black man in white baseball.
I want you to know I'm there for you.
In my heart.
Think about the abuse that he's gonna take.
Your enemy will be out in force, but you cannot meet him on his own low ground.
What you gonna do if one of these pitchers throws through your head?
I'll duck.
My words encircle this day. Negroes are gonna run the white man straight out of baseball.
This ain't the America I know. You hear me?
If they knew you, they would be ashamed.
If Robinson can help us win, then he is going to play on this ball club.
You don't belong here, and you never will.
Get off the field. Brooklyn Dodgers ain't changing our way of living. Wearing me down.
You are not the only one with something at stake here.
You want a player who doesn't have the guts to fight back?
No, I want a player who's got the guts not to fight back.
You give me a uniform. You give me a number on my back. I'll give you the guts.
Boxing was another sport that quickly emerged in the 20th century. Among the elite and popular boxers in the 20th century were Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. But the greatest boxer ever was Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson became the first African-American heavyweight champion.
William Morgan developed the game of volleyball in 1895. He believed this sport would fulfill the needs of athletes while being a less demanding recreational activity. He designed the game of volleyball to be a combination of 4 sports: baseball, basketball, handball, and tennis.
Basketball, another very popular sport in our society today, was introduced in the 20th century. It was second in popularity behind football. Dr. James Naismith invented the game of basketball at Springfield College. He wanted to create an indoor yet competitive sport to play during the winter time. On December 21st, 1891, the first game of basketball was played. When basketball was first invented, there was not a uniform set of rules like we have in the game today. As time went on, the popularity of the sport grew tremendously. One of the arguments used by early sport advocates was that playing sports built manliness, which meant that women should have nothing to do with it.
Girls can't play sports. You have to be tough. You have to be strong. You have to be athletic to play this sport. Any sport.
We're committed. We're determined. Who says girls can't play sports? Yeah!
Okay, girls, this is it. Harvey Field. Tryouts. Get out there, show them what you got. Don't embarrass me.
Some of you are gonna have to go home.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Come on, Doris.
Those people are jerks.
What do you mean, some of us?
Do it. Okay, some of them are going home.
Hey, how did you do that?
Senda Berenson was a physical education teacher at Smith College. She enforced rules for women's physical capability for basketball, but the rules often varied. She also helped to modify the game of basketball for women. Babe Didrikson was by far the greatest woman athlete throughout the 20th century. She was a stellar golfer. She won 2 gold medals and 1 silver medal in track and field at the 1932 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. More women started to participate in sporting events in the 20th century after seeing her success. Title IX was an anti-discrimination law and was made to provide equal opportunities for women in sports. This law changed the nature of women's athletics forever. The NCAA organization opposed Title IX because they thought it would be a threat to the financial support of men's intercollegiate athletics. In 1971, the Association for Intercollegiate Athletics for Women, or AIAW, was formed. This organization was administered by Women for Women's Athletics. They sponsored championships in many sports for women. The AIAW was disbanded in 1983 after the National Collegiate Athletic Association, or NCAA, began holding championships for women in 1981.
In sports, we can sometimes become too reliant on statistics. If you hear too many numbers thrown around over and over again, you might stop listening. But in this case, I hope that you are listening, because 1,098 wins, 16 SEC titles, and 8 national championships truly are incredible. However, they are only a part of why tonight belongs to legendary basketball coach Pat Summitt.
Pat has revolutionized women's basketball.
She set a standard of excellence that few people could ever reach.
No one will ever win the way she won. To me, that's what stands forever.
That kind of a role model is something we all look up to, men or women.
She's had an impact on all sports, on all people.
For women's basketball, she did everything that John Wooden did for our game.
'20th century sports laid the foundation for sports in the 21st century. Many of the organizations, rules, and regulations that were created during the 20th century are still in place today. The 20th century was a significant and influential time period for sports, physical education, and women in sport. It helped to give us the competitive and exciting sports society we live in today.
Thank you for watching ESPN.